I want to get to Christine's question because we've got a lot of
it's a good question.
Right? It's an excellent question and gets to the heart of something we talk about in one of our programs. So Christine is asking, can you talk about how to use storytelling in the context of communicating with high-level executives, such as the C-suite, who have limited time and just want to know what you need from them?
Mm-hmm.
Advice? Paul, why don't you lead us off?
Let me tell you a story. So I was early in my career in the Netherlands. I live in Amsterdam, but I'm not from here, and I come from Africa. And I had transferred to here, to Europe. And one of the things about storytelling is when you sound different. I'm 6'4", 194 centimeters tall. I'm a big guy, and I have comfortable presence. And I got to rely on that a little too much, right? So I would get lazy about preparation. And I was presenting in Belgium to fairly new, 3 months into the job or something, and I was cocky as hell. Really cocky as hell. It's actually funny because Jacques is on this call. Jacques, I know him well, and I can just imagine Jacques is the CEO that I was talking to, right? And I'm talking about the company and what a fantastic company we are, and facts and figures and so on. And he stops me and he said, "You've been talking for 90 seconds, and I know nothing more now than I did when you started. You have 60 more seconds." Which that was quite a moment, right? That was quite a, okay, we've got to do stuff. So what I had to do in that time then, and it was my funding of how to talk to executives after that, was lead with what I want them to do, then tell them why I want them to get it from me. So who am I? Am I trustworthy? And then what it's going to do for them. And I would use a story in the second part only. I would just use a story about why they want to get it from me, or my company, or my colleagues, or something of that nature. You cannot start with stories with executives. They don't have the time and they don't care. But once they've established that you have something, then who are you? And in the who are you, you can do it. That's worked for me. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Excellent advice. Izzy, it looks like you wanted to jump in.
And I was thinking there's two kinds of stories that you can tell when you're talking to executives. You can tell a story that demonstrates the need for the product or solution that you're selling, that illustrates the problem. And then you can tell a story that illustrates the impact of that solution once it's been implemented. So I think they're two sides of the same coin, but taking your point, you've got to tell it briefly. You don't want some shaggy dog, long-winded story. Once upon a time, let me tell you about this. You're really, really tight, but often the story will make the case more powerfully than the facts alone.
Yeah, and I just want to underscore the point you made, Paul. With that audience, do not lead with it.
Right.
That you'll instantly be your audience will be irritated. They feel like it's a waste of their time. Get to the point. So we always say lead with your bottom line, and then as you're saying, you can use a story to help convince why you're the one they should buy it from, or as supporting evidence. And that's not always the case, though. If you're in a team meeting, it's often very powerful to lead with a story. So it gets back to really, really knowing your audience and what it is that you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
Mark, you wanted to jump in?
I was going to echo something Paul said very early on in the session about trust. And that when you're pitching, let's say, to the C-suite, to executives, they obviously want to know why you're there in terms of your objective, but then they also want to know why you are here. Why are you here? Who are you? And why should I trust you? And that's where you have a moment to tell your story, because then you can speak to the passion behind why you're there, what business solution you're trying to solve, and so on.